I major in sociology and I minor in crim. What do I do on campus? I'm an RA. That's my resident. Say hey.
Hi.
What else? And I'm an Aspen Up Fellow.
I'm Lucas. I'm an RA in Taylor. I am a senior here. I am a communication disorder and science major with a minor in psychology and neuroscience. I am on the College of Sciences Student Advisory Board. I was in Greek life for a bit. I'm on a bunch of different committees through being an RA as well as other involvements, so I'm just kind of all around campus right now.
I'm Brandon. I'm a sophomore, special ed with dual early childhood major, involved on campus. I'm an RA in Lawson for the 7th floor. Not really in much this year, just because there's a lot going on. But last year I was on homecoming committee and a lot of student government stuff. Oh yeah, and this year, yeah, there you go. I am pledging Phi Kappa Theta, so.
I'm Courtney. I am a sophomore. I'm a public relations major with a minor in advertising. I'm in Kappa Delta sorority. I'm an RA in Lawson Hall. I'm in Lambda Alpha Delta fraternity, which is a leadership fraternity. I am part of Student Affairs Prep program, and last year I did university board.
I'm Shelby. I'm a sophomore majoring in therapeutic recreation. I'm currently the treasurer for Andrews Hall Council and recognition committee chair. I'm a member of the Association of Honor Students and Epsilon Sigma Alpha, and I'm the treasurer for my pledge class. I'm a DA and Andrew's desk assistant. I'm in Rec Club. I think that's about it.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'm a sophomore. My major is marketing with a minor in Spanish. What do? I'm also desk assistant. I'm pledged for Epsilon Sigma Alpha, a service sorority, and I'm in Hall Council. That's really it.
I'm Sabrina. I'm a sophomore, therapeutic recreation major. I'm an RHA rep for Andrews, which means I'm an RHA, and I'm social justice and diversity committee chair for RHA, and I'm in Epsilon Sigma Alpha. I held a bunch of positions for that, but I don't anymore, so I think that's it.
Perfect. Well, thank you for introducing yourselves. What are some questions you all have for them? Say your name when you ask your question.
I'm Lucas, and you guys all have named like different or multiple committees, and then there's school and also social life. What's the best way to balance all those?
Get your work done during the week. Block out your time so that you have time to work on your homework, time to meet with your clubs. Give yourself free time. Make sure there's definitely free time in there. And then what I do is I just work on my stuff during the day, on the weekends if there's any stuff that I didn't get done during the week. And then you still have time in the evenings to go hang out with your friends, because I mean, unless you have 8 a.m.s, you can always stay out till like 10 or 11 at night and not have to worry about getting up too early the next morning. So you still have that free time at the end of the day to just chill a little bit, relax and decompress, and make sure that you have time to yourself to kind of relax from it all.
Something to remember is like, when you're in school, you have to remember that you're in school to get an education. So if you can't, complete the minimum requirements to stay here, you won't have a social life. So that should always be a driving force. It's like, oh, I have to do this in order to do what I want to do.
And with that, don't procrastinate. It's something I struggle with, I'll admit it. But if you get stuff done early, then it's easier to have that social life because you aren't cramming or you aren't stressed out about finishing a paper the night before it's due. You can relax more.
Definitely invest in a planner.
Yes. Yes.
And I've learned recently, don't be afraid to ask for help, because
Yeah, absolutely.
that's something I struggled with a lot.
Yeah. I didn't go see a professor for help until this year. And I struggled like my whole freshman year because with my classes, because I was too scared to go ask for help. But they really are there to help you. So if you're struggling with your classes, please go say something. That's what they're there for.
Hi, I'm Lovey. For those of you that's an RA, how was the RA process? Because I want to try to be an RA. Was it like difficult or anything like that?
I don't think it was hard. It's all a matter of like making connections in your hall. So like when I first got here, I was a transfer student and I wanted to be involved in some way. So I became the floor representative. So I attended hall council and I found out what was going on. And then it gives you a chance to, you know, interact with the RAs and then even the ARDs, the RDs, or the AD. And then it lets them know that you have some type of interest within the housing process, even if it's something like minimal as being a floor representative. And then also making connections with your RA so that they can tell you how they did it and they can give you advice about what to do when your interview comes up and how to fill out the application.
Okay. Thank you.
The process has changed throughout the years. This is my 3rd year as an RA, so I was here a long time ago and the process was completely different. And then you sit through all the other ones and you're on the interviewing side as the RAs. So once you're a returning RA, you'll be on the other side of that process. So I've kind of seen how it's evolved. And basically the best advice that I could give you is just to stay calm, just think about your answers real quick. Just repeat the question back to them so that they make sure that you know what they're asking and things like that. And just be honest and truthful with your answers. Don't make anything up. Don't lie to us because chances are we'll be able to figure that out. And just be calm. I mean, we're just people too. We're not like big, scary, bad people who don't like too much. So don't worry about that. If you're nervous, that's fine. We can understand that. But just don't let the nerves take over your interview and just kind of just be yourself to let us know who you are, because that's what the interview process is we're trying to figure out who everybody is to see who would work well together on a staff.
Okay.
Also, I would say make sure it's something you're passionate about because being an RA is a job. Like, it's not something you can skate by. And if it's like your motive is the room and board incentive, it's not going to work for you because it's going to be like a huge chore. So just make sure that it's something that you want to do. Ask your RA like what things they have to do and you know what they like about their job, and then see if that's something that you would be interested in. Because if the passion isn't there, it's going to be a long year.
Right, because I like to be social. So I'm like, okay, I was like, why don't I try out being an RA? And plus, like, my major is sociology. So I'm kind of like trying to get to know everybody on campus, you know, interact. So that's why I wanted to just try out for an RA.
If you want to, you can ask me some questions like afterwards, because I'm a social major too, so I can understand why you would want to do it.
I'm Carrie. Is there anything you guys regret not doing or being involved in your freshman year? At any college you attended?
Freshman year, no, but studying abroad, I really wish I would have done that. Because now I'm a senior and it's not feasible in the next semester here. So I completely missed out on that. So that would be something, even if it's only for a spring break or a short semester in the summer, go somewhere, go explore. I've talked to all my friends who've done it. It's been great experiences, even if they didn't know anybody going, or if they were the only one going to a certain place. So definitely study abroad, because that's something that I missed out on and I wish I would have done, because you're never going to go to these places for as cheap as you're going to go by studying abroad. And you have to work hard when you go over there. You may not know the language, but everybody that's done it has come back with great experiences, and there's never been anyone that's like, oh, I wish I hadn't gone. Everybody that I know, it was the greatest experience of their life so far. So think about that.
This is a little different than your question, but I regret, I guess, getting a little too involved, because last spring I didn't get too involved first semester, and then second semester I was like, all right, gonna really get involved. So I got kind of overly involved and didn't pay as much attention to my academics as I should. So as great as it is to get involved, do know what you're here for and keep academics top priority. But still get involved for sure as well.
I was kind of the opposite. I didn't get very involved my freshman year. I didn't do a whole lot. And my roommate moved out for a semester, so I kind of just hung out in my room by myself a lot, and definitely get out and do stuff. meet people, make friends. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there in a good way. I mean, but try and get involved in at least something so that you aren't sitting in your room all the time.
How would you, because I know all of you are pretty involved with different things, how did you all decide what to get involved in so you didn't get to that point where you were over involved?
Well, me personally, this is my first semester as an RA, so what I did was I took it upon myself to make my academic schedule just all of the rest of my gen eds so that I could get a feel for the position and my academics wouldn't suffer. And then as far as like any other extracurricular activities, I'm abstaining just so that I can get a feel for how things will be, and then I can plan, you know, ahead for what next semester will be like. Although you can't tell everything, but I just like to be sure that nothing is going to be affecting of my grades.
Kind of like she said, with being an RA, I knew I'd kind of have to scale back because that's a job and it just takes up a whole lot of time. So I kind of decided to take on, I guess, bigger roles such as that and like be really great at the things I am involved in instead of like mediocre and just kind of average at a bunch of different things. So I really love being an RA, so that was kind of my top priority. I've been trying to like get a more active role in my sorority, and just kind of other things have been, you know, just pick a few things and like really apply yourself and really be great at those things.
If y'all like, I had a question like, if y'all had like leadership roles, if y'all was stressed, like, do y'all have like any stresses and like how do y'all deal with it, like being involved with like different things, like how do y'all deal with stress of work and then balancing that out with leadership roles and like other clubs and organizations?
For me, that's definitely been a challenge this semester because I'm taking 19 credit hours of schoolwork, which is a lot. And I have a job, so like trying to find time to like hang out with friends and like balancing with their schedules is tough. But I know with me, I do block out my time. Like there are certain times that I don't have choice. Those are homework times, and I also like to prioritize my activities for the day. I'm really like kind of a perfectionist, but it does help. Like when you prioritize what needs to be done like now for the next day and what could be done, you know, a couple days later. That's what helps me the most.
And definitely, when you are focusing on that one thing, it's super hard to do, and I've been working on it myself, but when you do block out your time, make sure you focus on exactly what you're supposed to be focusing on. Don't worry about the next block of time. Don't worry about the next test you have. Worry about what you have going on in that moment, because you have to live it day by day, otherwise you're going to be freaking out, stressed out, and the easiest way to do things is just, what am I doing right now? If I have to worry about something, I want to worry about what I'm eating next. Like, that's going to be my biggest struggle.
One thing at a time.
What I do is, what helps me a lot is to not overwork myself. I talked to one of my professors one time. He said your focus is basically only 45 minutes. That's about the longest span you can have focusing on one thing. So what I usually do is I set up half-hour, 45-minute blocks when either I'm studying or working on homework to try to relieve the stress of trying to study for a big exam. I do it in increments of 30 to 45 minutes, and then I take a 15-minute break to just relax and just kind of decompress from it and just either watch a short show on Netflix, like one of the 20-minute shows. Sometimes I'll just flip on the TV and just kind of zone, or I'll even take a nap for the 15-20 minutes that I have for my break, and then wake up, get right back to it, just so that way I'm not overstressing myself. And then if you also have something that you love, my passion is mountain biking, so I make sure at least once or twice a week I'm getting out, riding my bike, and making sure I'm doing something that I love. So if you love exercising, do that. If you love being arts and crafty, do that. Set up time so that way once or twice a week you have something that you enjoy doing to kind of relieve that stress of everything else.
When I started off in the beginning of the semester, I told myself I would give myself a day where I do nothing. And it's Sunday, so like I don't do homework or anything, I'm just chilling. And then some days I try to block out, like I try to do a lot of stuff where I kill two birds with one stone. So like usually my door is always open. and either I'm like chilling or I'm doing homework, and my residents can come talk to me too. So I'm like giving my residents the attention that they need, but at the same time I'm getting my work done too. And so by the time it's time for me to close my door and go to sleep, I don't have anything else to do because I fulfilled it, like knocking, multiple things out at once.
Like what made you realize like the Eastern was the school? Like what made you stay here? Or what made you come here? Like going to another college, or what made you come here?
Good question.
I have experience of being at 2 universities. So first I went to a private Catholic institution before I came here. It was way too much money and I thought I was going to end up at a community college. So my friend decided to come here too because we went to the same school, and she was like, oh, I'm going to go to Eastern because they have a good education program. So she came here, and then somebody introduced me to Omar, and Omar did his best to get me into the school. So I applied, I want to say in June, and I got accepted in July. And then I came down here, and I mean, throughout my first year, I was like, I should have came here the first time. I would have saved a lot of money, and I feel like Eastern provides me so much opportunity to grow as a leader. Like, not only do I have the RA position, but I have like my ART and my AD pushing me, and they just recently made me apply to become an Aspen Up Fellow, which, allows me to pursue my career while I'm also being an undergrad. So I feel like Eastern provides me with so much more than just the education. It's the care and, like the time that other people put into your future. It's just like, you don't get that everywhere. And I definitely didn't get that in my last university.
Yeah, it's definitely a school where it's big enough where you get that big college feel kind of thing. But it's small enough where, like she said, the leadership opportunities are endless, and you can just pretty much do whatever you want because we aren't that big of a school, so you do have the opportunity to get involved in fraternities and have a shot at being having a leadership position. You have the opportunity to work on the student government and have leadership opportunities there. And the price helped as well. It's cheaper. My program that I'm in is top in the nation, so that helped me. And it's 3 hours from home. from by Chicago, and it's far enough away where my parents are going to be coming to check on me all the time. But if I need to go home for a weekend, it's not that far of a drive to go home and get whatever I need and come on back. So that's why I chose Eastern.
I actually didn't want to come to Eastern, but because I'm stubborn and like my whole family came here, so I wanted to be different. But I'm so glad that I did, because now that I'm here, I can't picture myself anywhere else, because everybody does really care. Like they were talking about earlier, don't be afraid to talk to your professors, because they really do want you to succeed. And like my major, that helped too, because it's small, and so not a lot of other schools have it. But it's a great department because it is small, and so I can get that one-on-one attention. I know it's the same with a lot of other majors. And just like the feeling of community. I'm from a tiny, tiny town. And so Charleston's big to me. Like there's a Walmart here, that's a huge deal. Yeah. And so I was nervous, like I didn't want to go to a tiny school, but I definitely didn't want to go to a huge school because that terrifies me. And so like the size really helped, but now that I am here, I'm really glad that I did come here.
Yeah, I would definitely agree that everyone wants you to succeed. Your ARD and your director are always gonna like encourage you to participate in activities and do your best. But even within, because I'm a marketing major, so I'm in school of business, even within there, they offer extra sessions of help outside of class that are with like an undergraduate. Like they're your peers that are helping you with your homework and your classes and everything, which is super helpful. So everyone wants you to succeed here, and that's why I like it.
Oh yeah, I have a question for you though. Like, was it hard to get into business school? 'Cause I know it had to. I think you had to take like 2 years or something like that, and then apply for it. Like for, well, I think that's for grad, but was it like? Are you in your grad right now? Okay.
I just applied to the school of business, so I'm waiting on my acceptance. The way it works is you take like your gen eds and everything. You start out with like core classes, and then you start into your like basic core, which are all business classes, and then you move into like your major. But no, it wasn't difficult. I don't think so. I mean, it's very doable, and they do provide you with a lot of help and assistance that you need.
All right. Yeah.
There's tons and tons and tons of help available.
Okay, I have another question. So how did you deal with, like, have you ever had a professor that was just like impossible? Like the whole class was failing, didn't give homework. Like, how do you deal with that?
Definitely go talk to your professor, because I can guarantee that most of the people, I'm assuming you asked this question because you have a difficult professor. I'm assuming that most to none of your classmates have gone to talk to your professor, and that really does improve your grade as much as it doesn't sound like it would. It really does, because that shows them that you're actually working and trying to get a better grade. And maybe they can explain something to you better one-on-one, whereas when you're in this lecture, even though we do have smaller classes here at Eastern, I mean, even a class this small, you can get information lost. And maybe your professor is explaining something that he or she thinks is a right way to explain it, but it might not necessarily get through to everybody. So definitely go talk to your professor, and that'll probably really help. And if not, then just read, and study your butt off and try to learn it yourself.
Looking for tutors outside of your teacher, if he can explain it to you in a certain way, maybe somebody, you know, from a different class, or, you know, be your age can. Because I had a math professor last semester. I don't know, he was really hard to me. But I mean, what you consider to be impossible, he probably doesn't even realize, because not too many people probably have told him. So he probably think he's doing well. So if you actually do go talk to him, like, well, I don't understand this, that, or the other, maybe he can refer you to somebody who can help you. Because like she said, that little extra, like the fact that you took the time out to go see them, that'll definitely show that you can, and it'll reflect on your grade too.
So they are all first year students. So think back to your first year here. What is something that you went through during your first semester, second semester here, that you thought you were never going to get through, and now you look back at it and realize it wasn't actually that bad? It's like maybe a roommate issue or anything like that. Being over involved, being really stressed out about midterms.
Finals week. Finals week sometimes seems endless. You will get through it. Take it one thing at a time. It will be okay.
Social justice and diversity week for me, but that was a completely different story. I got thrown into the position last minute and had to do everything, but I had a lot of great people help me out, and I thought I was going to die. Laura can totally vouch for me, but yeah, just if you're having a bad situation like that, just surround yourself with people and ask for help, because it's definitely what's going to help you through it.
Like you said, I was really overly involved last spring. So again, just kind of prioritize and pick which ones you want to be really great at. And also too, I applied to do the Disney College program last year, for the spring. And I didn't get in, which is then why I did join all these different things. So it was kind of which was kind of good and bad, because I was like, well, one door closes, gonna open another one, and just kind of try something new. And I'm actually really glad I didn't get in, because then I joined Kappa Delta and applied to be an RA. So everything happens for a reason. So just kind of taking advantage of those opportunities. But then again, I got overly involved, so still just managing all of that.
Last semester I got really sick. I ran a fever of 108 for a week. So I missed so much school, and when I got back, I didn't know what was going on. So that threw me off really bad, trying to play catch up. And I had a night class, and then two classes that happened twice a week. So that was missing so much, and just trying to play catch up. And then I was doing the RA interview process. Oh, it was horrible, but I got past it.
I had a really bad roommate issue my first semester. She ate all my food and wore all my clothes, and her boyfriend was sleeping on my bed one day. It was bad. We didn't get along at all, and she actually ended up moving out. So I had my room second semester because nobody else moved back in. But at the same time, talking to my RA is what got me through all of that, because they really are there to help. And I had trouble confronting her, telling her, don't eat my food, don't wear my clothes, that's really not okay. And so definitely if something is going on, ask for help from your RA or your directors or something, because that's the person you have to live with. You don't want to be miserable, and you guys come on vouch, I'm sure they want to help you because they want their floor to be lovely and all get along.
Homecoming week last year, because I was on the committee, that was really nuts. Courtney knows how that went. But one thing that really helped me through it was kind of just every day, either like after a meeting or after an event, kind of just sit down and like debrief, basically, like just think about the successes and like what you could do better for the next day as far as like the events go. So that kind of just having that calming down period, like even that's kind of applicable to anything, like after a class or after a meeting for something you're involved in, kind of just thinking about what you can take from that.
I think my biggest thing was freshman year was at the end of freshman year. I went back home, which is, like I said, 3 hours away, and all my friends live within 45 minutes of Eastern, so they were all close, and I figured they'd still all hang out together, and plus they were all moving off campus, and I was still going to be on campus next my sophomore year as an RA. And I was worried that I wasn't going to stay friends with them because of the distance over the summer, them still staying close together, and all that other stuff. But I mean, I just talked to them every now and again. I think I talked to them 3 or 4 times this summer. I came down once to hang out and just kind of made sure that I made it a priority to stay friends with them because they were my friends and it was good. And then I realized it was something stupid to worry about because if they are your friends, they're going to stay with you. And if they don't stay with you, then were they really your friends in the first place? So it kind of worked itself out. I'm still friends with everybody that I was my core friend group from freshman year, so it worked out all right.
What's your guys' favorite Eastern tradition?
I like football games, sporting events, I guess. Homecoming week was a lot of fun. I think you guys participated in that.
I like the Miss Black EIU pageant. I think it's really uplifting.
Grilled cheese Wednesday.
Every Wednesday we go get grilled cheese.
How do you find out about events around campus, like without looking on the websites and stuff like every day?
Those boards behind you.
There's boards everywhere with posters out the wazoo, so just take a look, ask your RA.
But what about like events that's not school events, like?
It tells you stuff like that, like Greek organizations post their stuff up there. If there's parties going on, they post them up there. Even if you like get involved following people on Instagram, like say you follow a sorority or frat, they put all those stuff up there. It's like, oh, this is happening at so-and-so. So it's easy ways to find out.
On Facebook too, if you search EIU, like we have a bunch of RSOs and stuff, you just like their page and then their stuff will just pop up in your feed.
And those nifty new boards we have out in the quads, or out in the quad and like by, those nifty little boards, what the heck am I talking about? Thank you. Those have a lot of information. I mean, not all of it's super exciting stuff like pizza. I mean, it's awesome and all, but you can find stuff out on there too. Most of that's Eastern related though.
And just talk to your friends. Chances are, if you don't know something's going on, if you have 10 friends, those people are going to have at least 10 friends, and it's just a branching thing. So if they know about something, tag along with them, go talk to them. There's bound to be somebody that knows something. So if you're like, I don't know what to do this weekend, talk to one of your friends and be like, oh yeah, we're going here, here, and here. It's like, okay, I'll tag along, kind of thing.
What are things like in the community that you guys like to do?
Movies and Buzzard. They show like really up-to-date movies. Like we watched Monsters University in Quad. It was so relaxing.
There's thrift shops.
Yes,
Brandon
there
really
are.
likes
I
thrift
know all
shops.
about those. I was just gonna say that too, but I mean, I don't know, most of you guys probably don't have cars.
Yes, how do you get places without cars? Because I love to shop and I can't get anywhere, and I hate paying shipping in and online.
The P-Bus can take you down to the square.
Where's
in
that?
The main part of Charleston by the big clock tower. If you ride the P-Bus, it'll take you over there and you'll see it. And definitely last year, actually my first semester, I would hang around there all the time, and there's a coffee shop down there too. And I remember I was there for an event one night that it was completely like out of the blue. My friend was just talking about going there, and I was like, okay, let's go. So going back to like tagging along with your friends. And I went there and actually met with my English teacher who was there. So we kind of just sat and had coffee and just chatted for a little bit, but there's a lot of shops and fun stuff to do in there too.
I would say if you're used to like city shopping, and if you don't have a car and you want to go to Champaign, Dial Ride is a hassle because they don't come pick you up when they say they're gonna come pick you up.
And they only go to certain places on certain days.
Yeah.
Find a friend who has a
Fall
car.
break, girl. You
Yeah.
make some breaks.
Yeah.
Find a friend.
You can also take the train. The shuttle will take you to the train station in Mattoon. You can take a train at $6 to get to Champaign. Both ways.
Oh my God, I should check that out. I need to go to the mall and get some shit.
I need to shop now.
Online.
Yeah, and I hate paying shipping and handling. I hate
You
it.
better spend over $65.
Hey, and the fact that you can get stuff shipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, it's
It's a
something that
website
don't fit
called.
how I wanted it to fit, and I had to send it back. I don't send stuff back. I'm not paying the shipping and handling again.
Have any of
And I
you
don't know how to
guys
send
been
it
to
here.
Champaign?
That's very understandable.
Huh?
Has anyone been to Champaign here?
Yeah.
I live in Champaign.
I mean, down like by the shopping, like the main area. I think that's really awesome. If you can find a way to go over there. I mean, yeah, shopping online is terrible, especially if it's for clothes.
Not from shit. I left this shit.
I know Anthony, that's
What
where he
other
went to school.
questions?
So do you guys have peers that like came in the same time you did as freshmen who are no longer here? Maybe they're at community colleges, maybe they just went back home and they're working a regular job. I mean, what's the difference between you and them? Why are you still here while they're somewhere else?
My freshman year roommate, my first roommate, she never studied, she never left our room. When she did, she was partying, like she never ever did any of her schoolwork. And eventually, like when all the partying dies down at the beginning of the semester, and everyone starts focusing on their schoolwork, she didn't really have any like real bonds that she had formed with anybody. So she ended up leaving at the end of last year, and now she doesn't even go to school. She stays at home because she never, like, she went about making friends in the wrong way. You understand where I'm, like, coming from?
Yeah, it's great advice.
My thing is, I know people who went to high school, I went to high school with, and then they went off to school. I'm scrolling through Instagram, it's like, oh, she got a baby, she got a baby. It's like everybody has a kid and they can't finish school anymore. So it's like, you know why they didn't, why they didn't work out in school, because they was, too busy in something else.
True, true.
Freshman year, I had like my 6th core group of friends, and 4 of them transferred out after freshman year. One of them was because she changed majors. One was because she went home every single weekend, and so she didn't make any friends here. So I do recommend like staying on campus. It's fun on the weekends. There's stuff to do, but she never had any friends, and so she went home every single weekend.
If you guys are having trouble making friends, talk to the people on your floor, because chances are there's somebody who lives on your floor or even in your building who is just as bored as you are and is looking for a friend. And so even like just going out for lunch is like a really awesome way to like get